We came so far from dreams. The path was hard for me. They thought we fall, you see. Well, look at us now, look at us now. We make it hot when we on the scene. Yeah, that's 1,000 degrees. I got a grind for me and my team. Yeah, you know we gon' eat. You see the crowds when we come around. You know that I roll with some kings. We sit it down, I don't hear a sound, but I ask you who better than we. Tell me who better than we. We soaring to places you never could reach. When we walk in that spot, don't hear none of you speak. Shh, do you want peace or the peace? A king about to put you to sleep. Listen, my team is elite. You not even qualified to compete. He starving, he barely can eat. I guess that's why he always itching for beef. So I put him on ice and I told him to chill. Close your mouth if you can't pay for the meal. Making statements that you know you don't mean. Nice guy trying to act like he mean. Keep it a buck, keep it a bean. Attitudes will put you dudes in the beam. Isekai, he don't live in reality. Shake back, all become a fatality. Yeah, how you gon' hate when you mirror us? He think he a star, he ain't serious. X him out, we not on the same frequency. If you broke, you ain't hearing this. Work the screw, anime, that's how I feel, period. We winning, that's making them furious. We make it high when we on the scene, yeah, that's 1,000 degrees. I got a grind for me and my team, yeah, you know we gon' eat. You see the crowds when we come around, you know that I roll with some kings. We sit it down, I don't hear a sound, but I ask you who better than we.
Yo, what it do, guys? It is your boy, Leon Mookie here, and I'm back. Back at you with another new What If for you guys. And honestly, this is one to replace that of a What If I kind of dropped on the channel. And I just didn't want to feel, and I just needed to fill the hole with at least something, actually. And this is a concept a lot of people on my Discord have been bugging me with, but it's not a bad idea to do, to be honest. So, this is, what if Asta can summon heroic spirits? This is part 0, where I'll basically be going into that of details on how Asta is able to summon heroic spirits from the Throne of Heroes. It's going to be somewhat similar to that of, well, what if Izuku can summon that of heroic spirits? However, there is a little bit of a, well, small little problem, and that is, there's not really much of proper human history in that of, well, the world of Black Clover. Don't get me wrong, there are references to certain cultures and nations in that of Black Clover, after all. Even certain words and key figures are basically, well, spoken of in that of Black Clover too. But none of it rarely basically runs right back to that of our current human history, within that of the Fate series, after all. So I decided to pull that of a mixer, after all. Basically taking notes from that of the, well, Fate Grand Order's Lost Belts saga, after all. Also taking a bit of notes from that of Fate's Strange Fake, after all. Giving that of certain servants to that of, well, certain people within that of, well, Black Clover 2. It doesn't matter if there are one or two or more of the same servant, after all, like with Asta will have. And last but not least, I'll also be taking in a little bit of inspiration for that of Fate Samurai Remnant, the new Fate series game, actually, which is supposed to go into that of more of the lore of the very first Holy Grail War in a parallel timeline. So yeah, I think I can make this work, guys. Hopefully. Anyway, with all that said, let's get into this, shall we, guys? People say that the multiverse is infinite, and that's the thing. They would be right. There are infinite realities, infinite changes within history, especially within that of human history, when the very will of humanity itself, being that of both the good and bad of humanity, which values that of its survival the most, always coming in contact with that of the will of the world. Sometimes they work together. Sometimes they're always in conflict with one another. And sometimes they just stay on the side and allow things to just play out as they see fit. But what would happen if both Alaya and Gaia, Alaya the will of humanity itself, and Gaia the will of the world itself, basically decided to just put that aside and create one world alone, where both humanity and the world could basically coexist in harmony in one way or another. What would happen if every human being that's born on the planet had magic? That every last one of them were mages, knew magecraft, magiccraft, the lost arts, and even powers that even stand from that of the era of gods as well. And what would happen if creatures that were born from out of the world of Gaia, such as that of elves, dwarves, demons, and many other creatures, coexist in that world as well, all connected through one thing and one thing alone: mana. This would be an experiment between that of the two wills to see if the very humans and creatures of this world could coexist. However, as their years and years and many, many, many attempts and clashes with one another show that it is always inevitable. Clash between living beings will always happen, no matter what. Even in the first few centuries of this world's creation, that those clashes have already begun on several continents. One such as continent has already been taken over by one country alone, that being the country of Hino, while one continent is spreaded through that of 3 kingdoms: the Clover Kingdom, the Spade Kingdom, the Diamond Kingdom, and the Heart Kingdom. Of course, all these countries are basically formed by that of humans. But what of that of the other races, the other creatures created by that of Gaia? Dwarves are basically solitary creatures. Sure, occasionally some live with that of humans and elves, but they're basically considered short. Not to mention, they held back that of their true magical powers as well. Then there's the elves, which are basically loaded and consumed with that of mana as well. However, because of their low fertility rates, they're basically a small number of them across that of the world. As for the other 2 races, such as that of devils and spirits. Devils, basically demon-like creatures that look like monsters, consume and take over, especially when they have that of a host, a vessel. Spirits are somewhat similar to devils, but not entirely, where devils are more like that of parasites. Spirits are more like symbiotic, willing to work with each other, especially form contracts with each other. Devils can also make contracts, but only with that of people that they see either worthy of their time or as equals. However, that's in that of the small minority, when devils can take over and basically take advantage of that of humans' inhibitions and corrupted desires. In a way, this world became both that of a success and a failure. In a way, it's similar to that of a lost belt world, a what-if world that should have never existed. But yet, they can't help but yet to get rid of it. They want to see how this world unfolds, believing that there's a chance that it can be saved if guided to the right path. The words of Alaya, but the hesitation of Gaia. That being connect this world to the Akashic records, connect it to the throne of heroes, given the multiple Holy Grail wars throughout that of the multiverse, where mages and their servants that they summon from the throne of heroes fight for that of the Holy Grail, a ancient artifact basically absorbing all of the mana from each defeated servant and master. But in some iterations, a Holy Grail needs a catalyst, a vessel, and occasionally it always ends up being a homunculus, an artificial human. However, what are the chances that the Holy Grail, or rather a Holy Grail composed of Gaia and Alaya, came to this world and already had its vessel, but the vessel had full control over that of the throne of heroes to summon any hero of their liking, but at random. They can't choose who they summon, but they can keep who they summon though. Only a select few. while the rest are even able of this world. Those with the potential to become masters themselves can summon servants of their own. Their only task, if want absolute power in the Grail itself, is to kill the current holder and vessel of the Grail, the one who would be known as the world and humanity's one true master. And such a vessel would be created mainly from that of an accident that never should have happened, but it did. On the outskirts of the Clover Kingdom and Spade Kingdom, a village onto the border of both kingdoms, lies that of a small, rustic, and basically forgotten village, and that of the Clover Kingdom's forgotten realm, called Hodge Village. In this village, that's where two boys basically be stayed at. One being that of a boy from royalty, while the other a boy with no magic whatsoever, due to that of his mother's uncontrollable magic, to basically absorb magic within inside of her, and even take that of people's life force as well. Doing so ended up absorbing what magic Asta would be born with, and even possibly fear that she would also take away that of her son's life as well, having to give him up to protect him, while the other being that of another boy from a royal family. These two boys would be Richita's son, Asta, a gray-haired, spiky baby with a pretty energetic personality, while the other being a black-haired baby with that of a unique pendant by the name of Yuno. These two boys would not just only be born on the very same day, but would also become that of this world's change. The very thing that both Alaya and Gaia needed for this world. However, but only one of them would have the capability of being that of this world's Holy Grail, due to his unique and tragic circumstances. 5 years later, Yuno and Asta would basically grow up with that of a few other kids throughout that of the church orphanage, raised by that of the church's pastor, and fought in that of their father figure, Father Orphe. But it wouldn't just be that of him. On this very day, that's when they have that of a new caretaker as well. A young, beautiful woman with that of pale white skin, baby blue eyes, and black hair, wearing a nun's robes. This being Sister Lily. As she began to care and basically look after these kids, Asta, on the other hand, began to basically, develop a crush on her, actually. Hell, to the point that it's almost an obsession. But they don't really see it much of a problem, as this is just how a little kid would act when he sees somebody beautiful, after all. But that aside, things begin to feel different as time goes on. That because where many children and adults would already be aware on what their magical abilities would be around this time, Asta still hasn't awakened that of his magic, or even have a single drop of it. Mainly because of Sister Lily's unique skill and ability that is able to sense mana. Only a select few of mages, or even powerful mages, have the ability to sense people's mana. Or rather, as they are actually called into that of the Clover Kingdom and many other kingdoms in this continent, magic knights. Basically servants of the public, mainly composed of nobles. However, over the years, commoners began to be chosen and also welcome within the Magic Knights. Not to mention a story that both Asta and Yuno have grown up with ever since, and being their number one goal growing up, that to become the Wizard King, the Clover Kingdom's greatest and most powerful Magic Knight, the one who saved the Clover Kingdom about that of 100 years ago. As a proof of that happening, being the massive demon-like skull in front of Hodge Village. And for some reason, in Asta's mind, He believes that he and Yuno, since living in Hodge Village, proving that that those two are the most worthy, both of them, to become the Wizard King. However, he plans on becoming the Wizard King first. As of Yuno was always a shy, timid, and basically stuttering boy, even without the immense magical power, mainly his wind magic. But but due to his lack of confidence, he never truly believed in himself. And because of that, he always was considered a crybaby, despite his huge stores of mana. On one night, when Yuno was given that of a task to grab that of Aaron's for that of Sister Lee and Father Orphe, due to them trusting him given his magic. On the way back, he was soon attacked by that of a thug, who soon noticed that of his pendant. As the thug notices, saying, "Now this seems pretty valuable. I might be able to get a good chunk of change from something like this." With Yuno crumpling on the ground, with that of Tears saying, "Give it back, that's mine." With then getting kicked again by the thug saying, "Shut up, brat. It's not like somebody like you deserves it anyway. Know your place, you orphan trash." But then, as Yuno struggling on the ground, still trying to grab that of what was given to him, that's when somebody yelling and screaming in that of the night while it's snowing, pretty much, as it being that of Asta, as he headsbutt the guy in the gut. Before then, the guy basically slaps Asta away, as Yuno notices that of the gray-haired teen saying, "Asta," saying, "Give it back. That's Yuno's." Saying, "You damn brat." As Asta basically charges in again to basically get that of the pendant. The thug not even caring, as he continues basically hitting, bashing, kicking, and throwing Asta to the ground over and over. With Yuno kind of shocked and surprised, saying, "What are you doing? Why do you keep doing this?" With then, soon, Asta, however, stands back up with basically a swollen eye and, a bit of blood leaking from his mouth, as saying, "Because you're family to me, Yuno, and I protect my family." With that's when something begins to glow around that of Asta within his chest. Before then, certain marks begin to materialize across that of his small left hand, and not just on his right hand, but also one on his forearm and another on his forearm as well. The thug couldn't see this, but Yuno, on the other hand, due to him actually having that of mana sense as well, he could sense it. He can sense Asta's power. However, he always thought that Asta was magicless, though. How is he having magic now? With that, soon, the thug basically tries to kick Asta away again, saying, "Damn brat, just stay the hell down." As that kick was about to connect with Asta, that's when a bright light materializes over that of Asta and the thug. And in that bright light, soon, 3 figures come from that circle as well, causing the thug to be caught off guard and shocked, stumbling to that of hit on the ground, as that of these 3 figures that actually look quite menacing, not to mention their magic power, or rather the mana wafting off of them, is basically quite dense, almost intoxicatingly actually, with one of the figures being quite tall, massive, with that of tons of armor wrapped around that of their legs, arms, and even massive chest plate as well, with that of a quite large, long sword in their right hand, but covering their face is that of a helmet, and with that of long, blonde hair. The other figure being that of quite a large, muscular man, wearing that of a wearing that of a black and red robes all across his body, with even the robe basically covering his face where you can't see them. However, he has that of one large longbow and multiple arrows on his back. However, what really stands out is that of his dark charcoal skin. And then the one in the center is that of a beautiful young lady with that of white armored robes, long purple hair, and a massive staff that look in the form of a cross that almost looks like a spear, but it's actually a magic staff. Not to mention her piercing baby blue eyes, as the thug is completely and honestly caught off guard, especially feeling their mana pressure as it terrifies him with a passion to the point that he basically drops the pendant and literally runs for his life. However, as for that of Asta and Yuno, as they see the three figures, they soon turn around. Before then, the one in armor walks over to that of Asta, as Asta, a little bit shaken, however, even so, he still stands his ground, almost ready for a fight if they hurt that of Yuno. But then the entity basically stabs the sword in that of the ground, in the snowy ground, removes the helmet, with then showing more of that of their long hair and their actually quite beautiful face as well. What even stands out the most about that of her beauty is her heterochromia eyes, with one eye being blue and the other eye being purple. As she soon says, "You are our master, are you not? You're the one that summoned us." Boy, within hearing that, us saying, "Huh? Wait, master?" The one with that of the long purple hair saying, "Oh my goodness, you're hurt." But then she goes down to on her knees, having her hands on that of Asta's face, saying, "Dear, but you have a busted lip, swollen eye, broken teeth as well if you've been pushing yourself this hard." With then, a white light begins to materialize over that of Asta, as then his wounds, his eye, and everything else begins to fade, saying, "Huh? I feel so much better now. And I feel tired." Within, she realized, "Oh, my mistake. I shouldn't have." Within, without warning, the muscular man grabs that of Asta with just one hand and places him close to that of his muscular chest, with Asta comfortably, basically, in the man's arms. Within, Yuno, still shocked by this, saying, "What are you going to do with Asta?" The woman stands back up, grabbing the sword, saying, "Don't worry, little one. We won't do anything horribly to our master. After all, it is our duty to protect him, now and forever." With that, she puts on her helmet again and takes Asta back to that of the orphanage. Within, soon, that's when the muscular figure also offers his hand to Yuno, which Yuno flinches back a bit, as then, seeing that the man isn't going to hurt him, if anything, he's offering him to carry him. Yuno a little hesitant, but decides to do so anyway, as he gets in that of the man's arms, putting Yuno very close to him to keep him safe and secure, to the point that Yuno actually does begin to feel quite safe, as the three figures alongside the two children head back to Hodge Village Orphanage. Arriving back with Sister Lily and Father Orphe quite worried, as of course they remember that Asta basically ran out to look after Yuno. However, they soon notice that of the three mysterious figures, worried for that of the two children, especially since they're both in that of the massive man's arms. Sister Lily being on guard as she about to prepare that of her grimoire, as the one with that of the armored robes places her staff aside, before then saying, "Wait, we didn't come to cause any trouble. We came to return the two boys. The one with the black hair was assaulted by a thug while that of our young master, Asta, went to protect him, with Father Orphe hearing that saying, Asta? Oh, that boy. Within, soon, that's when the armored woman saying, you should be proud. He has a strong determination and courage, worthy of a true knight. But the boy lacks power and even control. With then, hearing this, Sister Lily asking the greater question saying, who are you three and why do you have Asta and Yuno? Within, Yuno getting out of the man's arms saying, Sister Lily, Asta, they're telling the truth. Asta helped me and then these three saved me. That's when that of the purple hair lady gave that of Yuno back his pendant saying, I believe this is yours, ain't it, young man? Saying, yes, it is, thank you. Saying, my name is Meredith, but you can call me Ryder. I need to also introduce myself to that of my master once he wakens. But then, Sister Lily and Father Orphe saying, Master! Within, Sister Lily saying, wait, are you saying that the three of you? As looking at that of the three figures, as soon, the one known as Meredith is saying, you can call us that of spirits, actually. Spirits that are now in the service of the boy you call Asta. Later on that evening, as Asta begins to recover, Yuno deciding to make a decision of himself. Originally, when Asta said that the two of them are the most worthy to be the Wizard King, he never truly believed it until now, as he wants to be just as brave and just as determined as Asta, and not just him, but also those so-called spirits that he summoned as well. The next morning, as Asta wakes up, he soon notices that of Martha, as she looks over that of the boy saying, you're awake. Within, Asta saying, are you an angel? Within him, she begins to blush and blink saying, I'm sorry, that's not the occasion. Please allow me to introduce myself now that you're awakened. Within, the one with the helm, that's when the knightly woman saying, so he's finally awake. Our master is finally awoken from his exhaustion of summoning us. Within hearing that of a grunt of acknowledgement being from the muscular man who's sitting cross-legged into that other room as well. Within us saying, who are you people? Wait, I remember last night. You, as then she's saying, please calm yourself, master. With him saying, and why do you keep calling me master? With soon, that's when Meredith explains herself saying, allow me to fully introduce myself, master. I am Saint Meredith, servant Ryder. Within, that's when the armored woman saying, my name is Vargas, but I also go by that of other names such as that of Fairy Knight Gawain, servant Saber. As of now, and from now or more as you see fit, my sword and blade are yours to command as you see fit. Within, looking back at that of the muscular man, as he soon removes that of his, robed hood, showing that of his face. A quite handsome, muscular, and rugged features with that of long brunette hair, as he speaks for the first time, saying, I am servant Archer. Name, Alcides. But I also go by another name, Heracles. Alcides, Hercules, Archer. Does not matter. I'm here to help you and serve as you see fit. With those words, he brings down his hood once again, remaining quiet, with Asta saying, I am so confused. Why do you all want to serve me? With this, it leaves quite a conundrum between that of the three servants, with the only person feeling like they're the only person that can explain everything being that of Martha. Within, she's sighing, saying, Allow me to fully explain, Master, on what we truly are and why we wish to serve you after all. As we are heroic spirits, figures throughout that of human history and other forms of history as well, as our records and deeds have been recorded throughout that of the Akashic records, as heroic as within the throne of heroes. As then Meredith begins to go into complete and utter detail on why Asta is able to summon them, on who they truly are throughout their history and lore, and other things. As for the young, 6 to 7 year old boy, he's actually in for quite a ride, as his goal of becoming Wizard King doesn't seem less of a dream as of now. And that's it. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please tell me what you guys think in the comments below. Let's read them. Sorry this wasn't an action-packed part. After all, this is just the intro and explanation on why servants from the Fate series are basically in Black Clover after all, to make it more believable, to be fair. And as I said as well through my explanation, yes, other people will be having that of heroic spirits to summon as well. And they'll all be fighting for that, the Holy Grail, that is basically inside of Asta, that allows him full control over that of the Throne of Heroes like Izuku. Also, do you think Asta would be able to learn that of Magicraft or Magecraft actually? I mean, technically you do need mana, but as long as he has that of Magic Circuits, I think, and Piranha Points, I think he'd be able to still use Magicraft even though he doesn't have this world's version and variant of mana after all. I'm just saying, tell me what you guys think. Should I just leave him completely magicless so he can have that of the, Libe and the 5-leaf clover anti-magic swords? Or should I give him a bit of Magicraft for basics and he can basically use what he can use for that of his other anti-magic swords when he gets his grimoire? That's up to you guys. Tell me in the comments below. I'm not going to bother making a poll for this because it's honestly little to any importance to the story either way. So yeah. Anyway, if you guys like this, please like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell notification to get my videos uploaded to the channel. Also, please check out my Discord, gaming channel, side channel, other channel, Patreon, and Cash App. All linked in the description below. And if you guys have that of a what if you want me to do for that of the channel as a one-shot, please make so, and please donate that of $5 for the super comment after all. So yeah, anyway, with all that said, this is Leon Mookie signing out. Later guys, and hope you all take care. You know what to do, my Shiro. Closes off.
Hi everyone, this is White Fox. If you liked Leon's video, click the video on the left to see the most recent one. And if you want to see more of this, click the subscribe button and notification bell and check out his playlists. If you still haven't subscribed, do so in the center. With that said, I hope to see you again on my love's channel. Bye!